This meeting to order for the Town of Brunswick Planning Board for October 5th, 2023. If everybody please rise for the pledge of allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Okay, our agenda this evening is as follows, as it was posted on the town website and the town board. Number one, Golden Special Use Permit. Applicant seeks approval for an accessory apartment in a single-family home on property located at 318 Pinewoods Avenue. This involves a public hearing to commence at 7 p.m. Charles Golden and Donna Golden are the applicants. Number two, Golden Grain Pizza Site Plan. Applicant seeks to redevelop an existing building into a pizza restaurant at 585 Hoosick Road. Center Arc is the applicant. Number three, Memorial amendment to a site plan. Applicant seeks to amend a previously approved site plan in order to expand the building and add additional parking on property located at 1632 Hoosick Road. Nicole Memorial is the applicant. Number four, Mato request for a zone amendment, referral from the town board on a petition seeking a zone amendment for property located at 291 Oakwood Avenue. Mato LLC is the petitioner. Okay. As previously stated, we do have a public hearing tonight to start at 7 p.m. This is for the Golden Special Use Permit. And I will proceed with the procedure for the public hearing. The purpose of a public hearing is to hear concerns, comments, and views from the general public regarding a particular proposal or application. All public hearings are electronically recorded, and a written record of the proceedings is generated. In most cases, this written record is included with the minutes of the planning board regular meeting, which is usually conducted immediately after the public hearing. The applicant will be required to respond to all concerns and comments made at the public hearing, and subsequently, the planning board will consider all concerns and comments when evaluating the application to ensure that the applicant has addressed all the issues in question. Public hearing will be conducted as follows. A notice of public hearing will be read by the planning board attorney. Next, the applicant will give a brief presentation on the proposal and will provide any updates on the application. Upon completion of the applicant's remarks, the chairman of the planning board will recognize persons from the public, and these individuals will be allowed to speak and offer their concerns, comments, and views. Since the proceedings of the public hearing are electronically recorded, it is requested that all speakers step forward, use a microphone at the podium, and all speakers will give their name and address for the record. This time I'll have the notice of public hearing read by the planning board attorney, Andrew Gilchrist.
Notice of public hearing. Notice is hereby given that a public hearing will be held by the planning board of the town of Brunswick at 7 p.m. on Thursday, October 5, 2023, at the Brunswick Town Hall, 336 Town Office Road, Brunswick, New York, 12180, to review a special use permit application submitted by Charles Golden and Donna Golden for an accessory apartment on property located at 318 Pinewoods Avenue. Copies of the application and supporting documents are available at the Brunswick Town Hall and are available for public inspection during regular business hours. All interested persons will be heard at the public hearing. If the notice was published in the Eastwood Press, placed on the signboard, posted on the town website, and mailed to owners of all properties located within 300 feet of the project site.
Thank you. Okay, just for the record, we did receive a notification of zoning review action by the county. And the basic result was that the planning board has determined that the proposal does not have any major impact on county plans, and that local consideration shall prevail. So that's on the record now. We also received an ag statement, and at this time, I'll have the applicant come up and just give us a brief presentation on what you plan on doing. And this is for the benefit of the audience, not for us.
Good evening. I am Donna Golden. We are proposing to put a kitchen in over on my daughter's side of the house. She's a special needs child. And, it will just, we're hoping that it'll just prepare her better when she's indeed on her own to be able to, budget for her meals and prepare her meals and just, encourage her to be more independent.
So there really isn't any more information than we've already received.
No.
Okay. At this time, I'll open up the floor to the public. Is there anybody wishing to come up, make any comments, have any questions? Offer any opinions on this? This is not uncommon. There's no response at this point. So, once again, is there anyone out there that wishes to make any comments? Any opinions or views? Okay, I do not see any need. I'm going to pull the board right now to offer any extension on this public hearing. There shouldn't be any reason to have any type of written comments received or anything like that. Is that agreeable? Okay, then I will make a motion to close the public hearing. Second, is there any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? The public hearing has ended. Obviously, there was no comments, so we're going to now go into our regular meeting agenda, which will be the first one on the agenda, so you can stay there for a minute. We just have to
Okay.
we have to review our minutes of the past meeting. This is for September 21st, 2023. I assume everybody received these and has been able to review them. Is there any additions, corrections, amendments? Okay, hearing none, I will make a motion to accept the minutes as they were submitted. Do I have a second?
Second.
Is there any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. Now on to our regular agenda. And then we'll have the Golden Special Use Permit.
Yes.
Okay, we just had our public hearing under normal circumstances. We require the applicant to respond to any comments, so forth and so on. Obviously, there was no comments, so a portion of the responsibility has been waived. So I'll open up the floor to the board. Does anyone have any questions or require any more information on this? Okay, then we can proceed ahead. We don't need a ag statement, or a secret review on that.
We will, so we'll step through it in a minute. Wayne, any issues that you see?
I don't see any issues.
Okay,
So there will need to be a secret determination,
okay,
as you could be considering granting a special use permit. So the first order of business is the secret determination, and once made, then you can move on action for the special use permit.
I'll make a motion for a negative declaration under secret.
I'll second.
is there any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Now on the approval of the special use permit, is there any conditions that anybody wishes to place on that? I don't think there should be.
I can't think of
No, nor I. I mean, there's existing septic. We had in the record statements that it's designed to handle this additional bathroom, adequate off-street parking existing.
Yes, it is.
I understand there's multiple areas for parking,
Yes.
so I like Wayne, don't see any conditions.
All right. And I will entertain a motion for approval.
I'll make a motion.
I mean,
Yeah, Donnie made a motion.
Have you made a motion already? No, I'm sorry.
I'll second that.
Okay. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? You are all set. Okay, thank you. I hope Chuck is feeling well. Okay, next on our agenda is the Golden Grand Pizza site plan. How are you tonight?
Very good, thank you. Good evening, Nick Costa from Advanced Engineering and Surveying, and with you tonight is the applicant, Zach Rodenbach, who we've been in front of the board a couple of different times.
Yep.
And the last time we were here, we discussed that Mr. Ott has purchased the lot across the street, and since that time, we've completed our survey, the engineering and grading of that lot. So we're here tonight to present that additional parking that will be constructed on that lot. The Golden Grain Pizza will be located here. There'll be parking in front of the building, just like there always has been historically parking in front of the building. And then this will be a supplemental parking area for the new use here, which will be the Golden Grain Pizza that Mr. Ott will operate out of this facility. This is a little bigger, large view of the future pizza building and parking area. And just to go over some of the exhibits that we previously presented that show the building redevelopment that will be done here. This is just a rendering showing the exterior as you look at it from Music Street. This is just another color.
You're gonna have to speak up on that.
Okay, I'm sorry. Is this better?
What?
Is this better? I can't do any better than that. So this is a rendering of the elevation of what the building will look like once it is redeveloped. Another rendering of the parking area and.
Now, is that changed now with the new lot? Any of the?
Yes, this parking space is no longer here, and these two parking spaces and this parking space is also been eliminated
Okay.
because there's additional parking on the site. This was done, the architect did this rendition when he prepared these elevations. The rear, side, and again, front elevation. Another rendering from the side, from looking at it from Oneida Avenue. And then this is the floor plan that shows the kitchen area and also shows some tables that are going to be placed here. Yeah. Right. This was eliminated. This was the old plan. I wrote this just to show where we started from, where we went to that. So if there are any questions, I did meet with Wayne. He was kind enough to meet with me on Friday, and we reviewed the revisions that we made to the site plan. So if there are any questions. try to answer it myself and Mr. Rock.
I know there were some questions at the last meeting regarding pedestrian
Yes.
crosswalks and so forth and so on.
Yes, and we did put in the signage to alert both vehicles that are going this way, Oneida Avenue, and also coming out towards Hoosick Street. So there's signs on both sides of the road that announce that there's pedestrian crossing. We also added a sidewalk along here to bring the people to the building. We couldn't bring the people up the slope because the slope is about 5 feet of elevation difference, and we would need steps. So we thought that the sidewalk would be the better way to do it.
Wayne, you had an opportunity to take a look at that, and you were satisfied with the parking and so forth and so on?
I'm okay with the layout. Do have some comments on the parking after I had a chance to look and view it a little closer. You don't really, there's no, how is that parking lot gonna get drained? Where's the runoff? Does it flow off the front? Does sheet flow off the front?
Yeah,
Do you plan on collecting it and bringing it somewhere?
if you would like for us to collect it, you can certainly send it to,
Well, if you can show that it'll drain off, I'm okay with that.
it will drain down to here and it'll continue to go along Oneida Avenue to.
You only, yeah, you're gonna have to have negative pitch on your driveway coming off Oneida. Negative pitch, it's gotta pitch back away from the roadway, the driveway. Yeah.
So the way we presented it, it doesn't have negative pitch.
But, yeah, you only got one contour line because it's flat, it's hard to tell what's going on here. Is there any kind of ditch or swale there now?
No,
It just slopes down to the road. Right?
yeah, currently, and there used to be a house here. There used to be, the Keola sisters used to live there, and the house was, there were steps that went from Oneida Avenue up to the house. The house was quite elevated. They obviously took down the house, and now it's left with the earth that's there. And that has quite an
They
elevation.
have a driveway that just pitched up
Yes,
from the roadway?
yes. That's the way it would come down. It's all nice gravel there. So if we had a picture, if we had a picture, and put a driveway, we could do that.
Well, yeah, take a look at what the drainage is gonna do if you have to have negative pitch off.
Right, if we have to have negative, if you want us to have negative pitch, then,
Well, it's kind of a requirement for a driveway on the town road.
it's, maybe you and I can meet beside and take a look at it, because that's quite, an elevation there.
I mean, you don't have to pitch it all the way into the.
No.
The parking, we need to make sure that all that doesn't flow.
Okay. Yeah, then I think we're going to need, more defined swale and take it to a driveway.
Well, that's up to you, yeah, so it's got a stream.
Okay.
Where does the drainage usually go?
There's
Is there storm drains on that
yes,
road?
yeah, there's two, there's a house right behind here.
Yeah.
And with the common property line of that, parcel, there's a catch basin, and there's another catch basin on the other side. That's where everything's right, but Oneida Avenue is fairly flat.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not, it's not, there isn't any vertical curves, it's just flat.
Okay. Anything else, Mike?
Well, I was gonna ask him about the soils, because we are doing a significant cut into that hillside. Want to make sure that it's gonna be stable, shouldn't disturb it.
And Wayne, I think that if you were to see the current elevations in the field, they exceed 102. They're pretty steep.
If they have trees and vegetation.
Not everywhere. Where the house is sitting, it's bare soil. And there is no runoff that comes off that site. It's takes sediment laden soil out into the street. It's fairly absorptive, it just goes into the, infiltrates into the.
I mean, this is gonna be all cut, you don't have any fill that I can see.
No, that's correct.
Is there any need for like a retaining wall in the back?
I don't think so.
No.
Not based on, all depends on the soil type and the slope that he's hoping to achieve. Yeah, I think he can do it without retaining wall.
Okay.
That's about all I had. I did call in today about the lot size. You're gonna be 15, the minimum lot size is 15,000. Which you didn't have in the original plan, but which you will have, right, 2 plans, which means they have to be merged. Yeah, you have to merge, it has to be 1 lot.
Yeah, it'll be under one ownership. Yeah, that's fine. Exactly. It's fine.
Plus that parking space over here to validate me is too close to the property line anyway. You didn't have any 7 foot offset.
Yeah, we did add those, when we did.
Yeah, I see that.
the setbacks. Yeah, that's correct. Yeah.
I think the plan is pretty comprehensive. I would say it's complete. Perhaps he has to add a catch basin or dry well. I don't think it's a significant change to the plan.
I think it is, would it be anything significant as far as considering complete for a public hearing?
But he did also submit, in addition to the site plan, lighting plan, landscaping plan, and site details. Perhaps what I would like to see is some erosion and sediment control details, which aren't necessarily required by code, but you're gonna have to put something in there once you disturb all that.
Yeah.
You don't have to do a full SWIP.
No.
You should,
Yeah, we should have some, silt fence and some.
yeah,
Maybe check, depending on, coming down the back. So,
maybe some details on that.
That's not right.
Anyone have any other questions?
That lot on the other side of Oneida, that's gonna be all paved?
Not all, no, it's only, I don't have the sites, I think they're shown on here. If you don't mind.
Which one?
This one here for you. The paved area is about 2,100 square feet. And the whole lot is about 8,100 square feet, it's 90 by 90.
The parking lot will all be paved or just,
The parking lot will be paved,
okay,
but not the whole lot.
yeah, no,
Yeah, so it's about a.
That's okay, I just- didn't know if it was gonna be a gravel lot or
No, it'll be,
paved.
it'll be paved, and then it'll be grass, and some of the vegetation will remain up on top.
Right.
We're keeping some of the vegetation.
Andy, do you have any questions?
No, it's, the issue in front of you is complete for purposes of scheduling a public hearing. Now, this is a site plan along Hoosick Road as well, so now that we've got the full set the building department needs to forward it to the county.
Okay.
Right, for review and
Can
recommendation.
we get a full set?
I'll get it. So,
Okay.
Wayne has it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just to the building department.
I'll get it over. John, we'll drop off a couple cents.
You're gonna have to ask, go back to Wayne, that are you okay with this, being a complete enough, set to,
For the purposes of the public hearing, I would say the plans are complete.
okay?
He also updated the EAF.
Yep.
Which includes that other lot with the parking. And so he updated that. and, submitted that.
Now, just for the record, I don't recall receiving any of these updated plans.
No,
These have not been
no,
distributed to the board.
that's correct. I met with Wayne, and that's as far as I went. I need to get the drawings over to Chuck.
Okay. Obviously, we'd like to see those before public hearing. I think we could schedule a public hearing. We usually schedule a public hearing 2 meetings out for purposes of fulfilling our notification process. So that would make it November 1st. Once again, we lost our calendar.
The second one.
I think it might be the first. I think it's the
The
second.
I think first meeting in November.
Maybe the
First
second.
Thursday.
Second?
Second.
Yeah, it's the second.
If you do the first meeting on the second, it'll be, you're gonna have one more meeting in October.
Yes.
The first meeting in November, which will be the second meeting.
It is.
Yes.
Then the third one will be
No,
the. Okay.
the second, we could schedule the public hearing
Okay.
for the second November, our first meeting in November.
There's no Chick-fil-A on that day, right?
Not yet.
Okay.
Let's put that out of the way.
We try to not double up on public hearings, so.
So we're
At
gonna,
this point, there's no way that they would be scheduled for that.
so we're gonna act on the site plan and then we have to act on the merger?
No, that, if it hasn't been done already, did you acquire title to the property on the other side of Oneida? Did you close on that?
Not yet. We are
Okay.
closing next week.
All right. It, what either would be a condition to the board were inclined to approve the site plan would be that those parcels are merged so that it's one lot.
With the current pizza, right?
Correct.
Then it goes, okay.
Yeah,
Okay,
it'd just be one parcel on both sides of the road will be hooked together on the map.
Got it.
You'll get one tax
Tax
bill,
bill.
it'll be one lot.
Okay, excellent.
Is when they're compliant for size within the zoning district. If that can get done when you close,
Okay.
then it wouldn't be a condition, otherwise it would be a condition of your approval that those 2 lots be done.
Okay? So we're all set for a public hearing. As long as we get a set of plans, I'm not so sure we need them to attend our meeting in between that.
Well, if he changes the plan, say to upgrade some of the grading and drainage, perhaps, you might want to come in next meeting and go over that.
So we can
And then
push out the
discuss
schedule.
Plans with it in front of the board.
That'd be nice.
Would they be available for our next meeting, which is on, oh boy, here we go. The 19th, 19th of October? Okay. The public hearing started 7 o'clock for the first on our meeting agenda. So the public hearing is scheduled for the 2nd of November, but you will be here before us on October 19th, just to review any of the updates on the plans. Okay,
Very good. Thank you.
sounds good. All right.
See you on the 19th.
And I don't have any guarantee that Chick-fil-A will not either way.
We're not going to do it.
All right. Okay. Thank you, gentlemen. And we'll see you on the 19th. Okay, next on our agenda is the Memorial amendment to the site plan. This was the veterinary hospital out on Huzik Road. Apparently, nobody was here.
There was an email from Chuck. She did contact the town today, say she's still coordinating with her engineer and would not be ready tonight, so maybe you want to place that for October 19th.
Okay. Well, that brings us down to our last item on the agenda. Mato Pato request for zoning amendment. Mr. Morley.
Good evening.
How are you tonight?
Good. Thomas Merle, 32 Hialeah Drive, Troy, New York. I made a request to the town board to modify the zoning for 291 Oakwood Avenue, which is just north of my Diamond Rock Plaza building on Oakwood Avenue. And the proposal is to put a grocery store on that lot that would be just north of the building. Grocery store would require a B15 zoning. Right now, it's currently industrial light zoning. So the request is for a zoning amendment to the town board. And I believe the town board is referred it to the planning board for a recommendation, and to the Rensselaer County Planning and Community Development for a recommendation.
Does that have anything to do with your cannabis?
No, the cannabis,
New project.
cannabis is in a holding pattern with state lawsuits and everything going on. They're gonna be in the building itself, right on that, if you're looking at it from over there, the left corner building, but that seems to be going no place with the way the state's got everything messed up, I guess, I don't know. You got cannabis, but you can't sell it anyway, so I'm not sure. He's waiting on the final results of the lawsuit and the, I guess, the regulations that are gonna come out of the lawsuit. They're still there. They had a couple people look at the lot, or at that portion of the building. This year, nobody's very serious at this point. So basically,
Did Ann Curry approach you on that, for that daycare center?
yes,
That's not zoned for that, right? That was the problem?
That's correct. It's the same
Yeah,
issue
yep.
that Tom has on the lot. So it's currently zoned industrial light. Certainly, it's an approved site plan for retail use,
Yeah.
but not for these alternate uses.
Okay. So this is going where the car wash.
yes. So I believe it would be a less intensive use from a traffic point of view. The same driveways would be used. All the utilities are at the site already, water, sewer, gas, electric, telephone, everything, so all the utilities are accommodated. The issue is if the zoning does get approved to B15, then we get together and prepare a site plan for submission to the town.
Okay.
Go through that review process.
Do you have current, just out of curiosity, do you have a current person that's going to?
We had some interest from a national firm.
Okay.
I've been dealing through the realtor, basically. That's as much as they really would want to talk about at this point until we get a zoning change and then with a complete site plan. The other thing too is, which I made them aware of, is that whatever goes there, it's got to match the architectural appearance of the rest of the plaza. So it would be similar colors and what have you. So
That's good.
this was the previous lot was going to be the buses they're running buses, but they didn't get the contract for Lansingburg School District.
Okay.
The original site plan that had the car wash on it had a pretty significant amount of parking.
The building was kind of, not a large drive-through type thing, it was more a, matter of fact, the one we looked at is Wet Willie's over on Route 9 in Latham's, which is just like a one-bay type, you go in, turn on your things and it goes back and forth, then you drive out. It's not like the one on Hoffman's on Houston Street here that you get 4 or 5 cars inside the building.
Just was wondering, was that parking associated with the other retail?
It didn't really have an impact on that. It was more, if we had, employees in there, maybe one of the bays might be a detailing type operation that they may want to store a car there while they're doing the detailing on it. One of Latham Wet Willie's, they had one of the bays that's strictly for detailing and what have you, so.
Okay, procedurally, maybe we should first decide whether we want to move forward with a recommendation.
Right, so, and we'll let the record note too that the town board has retained LaBerge engineers, Ron LaBerge is here to consult the town board on the proposed zoning amendment. So Ron is here to also provide any comments he has on this. Procedurally, this has been referred to you under the zoning law by a petitioner seeking a zoning amendment. And at this point, the code, it does say that your role is to make a recommendation to the town board. And then the matter is in front of the town board. There will be a public hearing by the town board. Your role at that point is ended on the request for the zone change. If approved, Tom's correct, then a site plan application would be anticipated for the proposed use and then it would come back to your board. So your role right now is just to review, deliberate on the proposal, any questions for the consulting engineer, and then prepare a recommendation to the town board on whether this board feels the zoning amendment should be granted or not.
You change the zoning, what else can go there besides?
This is an interesting issue. The petition request is to change the zoning district from light industrial to B15. And while there's been discussion about a particular use, this is one of the issues the town board's going to have to address is when you do change the zoning district, it would then allow uses that would otherwise be allowed in the B15 zoning district. So that'll have to be reviewed and considered by the town board. It should be considered by this board in making your recommendation. It's not like a planned development district, which is designed for one particular project. The lot's not big enough. So this is a request for a zone change to B15, which would allow uses allowable in the B15 zoning district.
This store that you have coming in here, potentially, there isn't any gas pumps or anything like that?
No. I think in the application, we mentioned around 11,000 square feet, but it might be smaller than that.
That's an interesting comment that we have to take into consideration what other uses that could be. If this falls through, what else can we do? So that's the other thing we gotta take a look at. Okay.
We looked at the car wash for about 8-9 years and just couldn't get anybody to go forward with it, even though there seems to be a real need for one in that area.
Could it be for both lots? Both lots?
No, as I understand the application, it's for the one lot, the north lot.
291.
The existing Diamond Rock Plaza building for retail use was approved when that use was allowed in the zoning district under the old Brunswick zoning ordinance. So its use is grandfathered, even though it's B15, grandfathered for retail use. This lot Also approved for a car wash, you could build a car wash there today. The car wash use is grandfathered, but not for a different use. Hence the request to allow that different proposed use, but that would require a zone change. It's somewhat similar, if you recall, further south on Oakwood, near what had been the Galavan site. In fact, the site that was going to be the daycare center. There's one parcel in that location that's in, I think, the B15 zoning district. The rest of the corridor is industrial light. And so this would be a request similar to that area where you had one parcel in the B15 zoning district.
Of the 9,500 square feet in the Lot Plaza, how much do you have actually dropped?
We got 2,000 for basically the visiting nurses. Going from the left side to the right, I say, that one's vacant. That was gonna be a fast food restaurant, which now possibly could be the cannabis guy. But that was originally gonna be the fast food restaurant. We had Arby's, we thought locked in, but their national people didn't like the
All
color.
that aside, Tom.
Next one is,
500 square feet of space in the Lot Plaza, correct?
yes,
How much is on
2,000 and 2,000, 4,000.
4,000? Okay.
The other two spaces are just basically a shell that need to be finished off and everything.
Okay. Heather, do you have any questions?
No,
I have one question. You said you had a potential client for this 11,000 square feet. Do you have anything signed on paper?
No, I believe we got an intent with the realtor. That's about it.
So you can build this on spec and what you're doing.
Well, no, I'm not gonna go that far. I mean, once we get the zoning change approved, if we get the zoning change approved, then I'd have to get all the documentation, to either lease it or sell that parcel. And we haven't got to that point yet, right now. We've got an agreement that I would come and get the zone change if that was gonna be a requirement. If that goes through forward, then the next step would be to either determine it's gonna be a lease or a purchase of the property.
Mr. LaBerge, do you have anything?
I don't really have anything to add to the conversation. I think the biggest thing, and Andy, you touched on the phone call the other day, and obviously again tonight, once you change the zoning, it opens up the use allowed people to come, so that's really the biggest consideration. I don't know, and you have to leave it here, if there's any way to tie the zone change to a particular site plan. But the town board don't want it.
we'll look at that issue. I think as I sit here right now, in general, the answer is no. Once you place a parcel in a particular zoning district, it would allow all of the uses within that zoning district. There may be some case law that addresses that issue.
I just don't know. I mean,
Quite frankly, I've not seen it where it's specific to a use. That's usually done through the size of a lot is appropriate to a plan development district, a plan unit development. That can be project specific. The zone change generally is not.
What about was this like formerly part of the Troy landfill? Is that
Yes.
true? And was there any restriction?
Originally, there was a 50-acre parcel that goes from Farrell Road north to the city line, from Oakwood Avenue back in approximately 500 feet. We subdivided that. The south end basically is a 9-acre parcel that has the access road going into the paintball facility. The center portion, which was the dump itself, was about 30 acres. And then we subdivided off the 2.9 acres for the retail plaza. And then we subdivided that parcel in two pieces, one for the building, and one for the future lot. So, and we've gone through with the DEC and all the requirements, and the test pits all over the place. The north end was never used as the dump. And the main portion is the middle portion, which is about 30 acres. And I've talked to 7 or 8 solar people about doing the solar farm, because that's the only thing I would put on there would be a solar farm. Matter of fact, I met one guy today, wanted to look at it. He's over there looking and see what he wanted to see. We do have the other solar farm on the backside of the paintball facility that's under construction. And they're moving along pretty good on that, so that's been pretty active. So, the poles you see on the lot there, that's the poles that are going to connect the solar farm into the national grid power lines. So,
Am I correct in that this lot is actually the borders the city of Troy, so there's no further lots in the town of Brunswick?
correct. There is a 75-foot strip that is between my land and the National Grid, 75 feet for their transmission line. That 75 feet is also owned by National Grid, but it's vacant. And that goes from Oakwood Avenue down to my property, my own house, down at the bottom of the hill by Hialeah Drive. So 75 feet, they could probably a couple thousand feet long, but it's never going to be used for anything. But the city line, the way I've understood it, is at the 75 feet where the transmission right of way is.
Okay.
So I'd have to go out the maps and verify that again.
I think what I'm asking is there's no further lots in the town of Brunswick that somebody could come and want another zoning change for. So now you have basically, this one single lot up in the
Yeah.
corner. Is pretty well zoned out. Let's
Yes.
put it that way.
Yeah, there's that 75 feet, whether that's in the town or, I believe it is in the town. If you look at the map that's got the store shown on it, you see the town of Brunswick is, and you see the Troy line.
Yeah.
That is the 75 feet that has the transmission lines on it. If you go from where it says town of Brunswick to the triangular point.
Yeah.
That's the 75 feet, that is National Grid property, that's vacant.
Okay.
I've made attempts over the years to acquire that from them, but nothing's been able to get a hold of anybody in National Grid. But that's the only land that would be available, and that drops off like.
Yeah, including that triangle out, that drops off.
Took that drop too.
The way that store is there, you're gonna have to do some fill.
Yeah, that needs a site plan. The contours are from an aerial photograph from about 20 years ago. So, there's been some changes there since, before I even bought it, what have you, so. We haven't really had Rod Michaels go out there and actually do a complete survey on it until we had somebody serious that's gonna do it, so. But it does drop off.
I would have to assume at this point that there's probably not a lot of objections to that as a I don't know what conditions or anything we would try to substantiate as far as a recommendation.
I would just did one thing.
Yeah,
I mean, because I know we're just working with a little sketch plan at this point, but, I mean, does it make sense to maybe advance that sketch plan a little bit to make sure that what's being proposed will actually fit there? Because that's one of the bigger flaws, right? You could rezone and see where the site's not big enough for what you need to do. And I'm not suggesting a fully designed plan, just a, solar parking showing how the site would actually layout and that site's suitable for it.
That layout is sort of one of they have several different layouts for that national company. And that's the one that's closest that can use the same driveway that we had there already, where they come in and make a left into the parking area. And as I think we showed that as 11,000 square feet, but it might be a little bit less than that when it's all said and done.
Yeah, no, I mean, I understand it, I mean, it's just kind of a gross,
Yeah.
opinion at this point, but that'd be my only other suggestion, even if it's ever done, such a planning phase drawing, you know, to the way.
Like to comment on that way? I would assume you probably agree with that.
I do agree with that.
Do I?
I do.
Okay.
I mean,
I think that that's a very viable point. I mean, it's, you're proposing to have a store there. You probably should make sure it fits there with a minimum amount of grading and so forth, or at least what your grading will be. So,
But the concern, really, the concern is more of what we were talking about before.
yeah,
If the store doesn't work because of spatial issues, it can become anything else that the zone doesn't allow. Of course, the question into itself is whether that
we requested for you to get some updated topo to see if the 11,000 square foot building could fit on that.
Yeah, I can do that.
Did you do that? Okay. Before we made our recommendation?
With parking, with whatever the parking requirements are.
Yeah, they have a regular layout for an 11,000 square foot store, a 9,000 square foot store, or a 5,000 square foot store, so, we can. The only conversation I had with them basically is that it's gotta match Diamond Rock Plaza from an architectural point of view. If they wanna go with a 5,000 store, 9,000 or 11,000, that's really up to them.
Well, the other thing is, you talk about the parking in front, but what about, delivery services, loading areas, so forth and so on?
We have a common easement over both properties for access in and out, so they can take the deliveries would be out of the back of the Diamond Rock Plaza, where the trucks would back into the back of the building. That's the one.
you gotta have room behind the store, that's
Yeah.
where the deliveries are.
Yeah. What
You gotta
is
make sure that there's enough space for the parking requirements that the town has, not only what
Yeah.
the client has, but what the town requires. Then you gotta think about stormwater, what are you gonna do with stormwater? There won't be any open pond, you're gonna have to do something else.
We had that, Francis Boston, he had that all figured out.
Or something, but, where the soils are.
Okay.
There's a lot going on there.
And the other thing we should probably review is what's allowed in a B-15.
Correct. And each board member, I think, should do that. Take the zoning law, at the back of that zoning law is the table of allowed uses. Go to the business category and, yep, and you got it. And then run through the B15 column and see those uses that are allowed, either permitted or special permit uses in the zone. And those would be, if rezoned, those could potentially go there.
In general, you would review those if there was no objections to any. Would that classify as a reason to deny the zoning change?
One of the considerations would be, regardless of whether the site works for the proposed use, you're correct, it's a separate issue. If for a reason other than that, financial reason, whatever, this project doesn't advance and the property were to be rezoned to B15, are there other uses allowed under the zoning law that the board would find objectionable? That's a consideration. Or if you review those uses and think all of those are generally compatible, we wouldn't see an issue. Those kinds of uses went there, that's a consideration too.
And that would probably be included in the recommendation to approve.
Correct, correct.
Okay. And we have reviewed these, even if it does, the store doesn't go in there, these other uses that are required either by the zoning laws or by a special use permit would be acceptable in there, as far as we're concerned.
Correct.
Right.
I think that's appropriate.
Okay. Let's get,
Did I understand that this was once B15 and it was zoned industrial?
It was, as I sit here right now, I can't recall exactly what the zoning district was, but recall when Tom submitted the site plan for Diamond Rock Plaza, the building department did determine that that use was allowable in whatever the zoning district was at the time. And it was reviewed
Right.
just under the site plan regs and approved.
could we do some research on that to find out whether it was previously B15? It was previously.
No, it was,
industrial.
Oh, it was-
well, no, it was previously zoned in a way that the building department determined retail use was an allowable use.
Okay.
That was already, no need, in
That was
my
with the-
opinion,
that
to
was with the
rehash
Diamond
that.
Rock Plaza.
Right.
Whatever the zoning district had been, the building department determined that a retail use at that location was allowable.
Yes.
And it was simply reviewed under your site plan jurisdiction.
Okay.
It only became non-conforming when the town then subsequently placed it in the light industrial
I
zone.
think I sort of misunderstood that it was possibly zoned previously at one time, B15.
So to that regard, I mean, that's so monkey ring, and coming back to what this question, does it make sense to rezone both parcels? I don't know how that affects any of the proposed uses, but absolutely, I mean, it makes sense to rezone both parcels if that's the use.
Something I suppose the town board considered, the applicant hasn't petitioned.
No, I
for that.
understand that, I understand that.
Legally, right now, it's a built retail plaza and can continue to use that. If the town board wanted to, as part of this proposal, say it makes sense, I don't see any reason why it couldn't
Okay.
consider that. Because at that point, it would generally be, I guess, a town board initiated amendment.
Originally, there was gonna be a car, besides the car wash, there was gonna be a convenience store and a gas station.
Right.
And that's the one space that's still vacant, is the convenience store and the gas station. The pumps are gonna be out in front in the plaza itself. I've been working Cumberland Farms for 15 years, and they keep changing ownerships. And tough to get an answer out of anybody these days on gas stations. But tomorrow, somebody come in and want to put a gas station in there.
And if they did, there's an approved site plan that shows a convenience store with gas pumps as a permitted use on the site plan. In my opinion, vested, because it's already built the building, and it's grandfathered, that could move forward. But if the issue becomes when a different use is proposed like this, that gives rise to, well, that's a different use, that's not protected by grandfathered status. Does the underlying zoning allow it so that you could then do a site plan amendment? Here, the answer is no. Hence the need to, or at least the request to change the zone.
Well, I guess we have a little homework to do before we be involved with the discussion as far as the recommendation. I think we should all look at the potential of the B15. We talked earlier about possibly getting maybe an up-to-date topo and whether a building, a 11,000 square foot building would fit on there with a minimal amount of excavation, I would assume. Did they actually look at the lot?
Yes.
So they know about the topo on the back? Okay.
Doesn't appear that it would be a lot of degrading.
No, it's fairly flat.
Yeah, no, it's restricted to look at it.
I think the other thing is depending on the size of the retail store, I think we really have to take a look at the parking, right?
I think I looked at that, I had to go back. I don't think the parking was an issue at all. I think the code requires less parking than that they really wanted, and we were able to accommodate the additional parking. I'd have to go back and check on that. I was
Okay.
several months ago that.
This is a different use, you know, the parking requirements are different.
Well, the code there says it's so many per square feet. And I think that's what we looked at, and we had more than enough there. So.
Okay, we'll probably have to review that with the building department.
Right.
All right. So I guess we got a little homework to do, but if you want to be on our agenda for our next meeting. Okay. That is on October 19th. We'll hopefully have some questions answered there and be able to move forward with at least a draft of a recommendation.
Ron, is someone from your office up there?
I think, yeah, it was previously,
Yeah.
Does anybody have any more questions for Mr. Maloney? Wayne, you all set at this point?
I'm all set.
Okay, I think we're all set for tonight. Okay, thanks for coming in. And that concludes our regular agenda. Is there any new business? Any old business that anybody wishes to discuss at this point? I think the only old business I have is the Chick-fil-A. Is that going to be put on our agenda for the next meeting? Or is anybody here and
Waiting for additional information from the applicant and some response from DOT.
would it be necessary to put them on our agenda for the next meeting, or just wait until we hear from them?
I think it's appropriate to wait until there's an actual submission. As I understand it, Wayne, you're correct. Still waiting for comments from DOT, and I think the applicant is still scheduling some additional site investigation work. So that would have to be done, and then whatever plans updated based on that.
Anybody have any other questions on their old business?
What's the status of Walmart? Did the town make any direction on Walmart?
So it's good that Ron LeBears is sitting here. So the town board accepted the application to amend the plan development district. Ron's been retained as review engineer. I'll be working with the town board on that as well. Next week at 6:30, there's an initial sketch plan conference under the current zoning law for PDDs. It's a multi-step process. The first step is a sketch plan, presentation, and then ultimately there'll be a written sketch plan determination. And that's really to decide whether the town board wants to entertain a full application or not. Don't know what that decision will be. So there's still some work
That's a
to be
special
done.
meeting, that's not their first meeting. That's a special meeting. That sketch plan, is that a special meeting?
It's their regular meeting night, but it's 6:30 instead of 7.
Gotcha.
So we'll have the sketch plan conference at 6:30, and then they'll roll into their regular meeting at 7.
The pickup that they're building along this side towards Route 7, are they gonna be able to go ahead and turn that on and go, or they have to get approval from us?
They weren't gonna grant a CO until, I believe.
Well, it's a good question, Dave, because if the use is within the existing building and it still constitutes a retail use, I suppose that could move forward. The request for the amendment is the sale of materials out in the parking lot and the storage.
Yeah, but when they did the stuff in the parking lot for where you call in your order.
Yeah.
I guess maybe the approval is for the canopy, but, I mean, they got 30, 40 parking spaces along that fence there facing Route 7. It looked like they were ready to go at any moment to turn that on and start taking stuff out there and putting it in cars. Does that need our approval, or is that?
That's something that the building department's got to review. if there's been a change in parking, isn't it?
I don't know, they used to put those storage sheds there, and then they put their garden stuff there. They never had parking there, but I don't know if the original PDD says it's parking, or they just put those big gray containers along there without
Well,
approval.
Listen,
Temporary.
there was actually to my recollection, a condition prohibiting that. I know it occurred for a while. It was always kind of a compliance or an enforcement issue. Yeah, that's a question I don't know the answer to. If they're looking to make exterior changes that are in addition to what they've requested in the PDD, just the outdoor storage and then the outdoor sales. The town would have to, then the building department would have to check what the original approval allowed. And if there's a change, but it's simply a site plan change, that'd be one thing. Recall, the issue here is the PDD approval had a specific condition prohibiting sale of merchandise out in the parking lot. And the PDD also said the use was allowed per a specific engineering plan. And so that engineering plan would need to be reviewed. That engineering plan did not have any exterior storage containers in the front parking lot. So that needed to be amended through the PDD process. What's going on the side of the building, I don't know, but that would have to be reviewed to determine whether it's within the approval of the PDD, and that means looking at that particular engineering plan. So the building department should do that before anything is determined on that new use.
Okay, just to review our agenda for our meeting on October 19th. I have the Golden Grain Pizza, Lamora, and Nato Pato. I don't think there's anything else. And tentative, Maria's News LLC, which is the Chick-fil-A, but
Yeah, do you want to put them on as tentative or keep
No.
them off until there's a submittal?
so there's just about. Does anybody have any other thing that I missed possibly on the agenda? Those are the only open items I think we have of those. Is there something going on with the Brunswick Acres PDD project? Anything going on with that? Is that dead?
I don't know. I'm not aware of any.
Turn it back in the woods.
Haven't heard of people, I talked to with JR, gosh, I don't know how long ago
Months ago, right?
now. Right, yeah, because I called you on
Yeah.
it. They haven't provided anything that they were requested to do.
I think he's involved in that project over in East Greenbush, pretty much hunkered down.
The one in North Greenbush?
Or North.
Yeah, yeah, the Meadows.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a wonderful job.
Yeah.
So recall on that, the PDD was approved to allow the number of lots, but the subdivision review and action by this board expired. And so when they want to move forward, we'll have to deal with that issue about what additional review by this board needs to be completed.
The application.
We still have the issue on half the lots were approved with Spencer County.
And that was the whole issue, right? That was the conditional final approval, you don't get your plat stamp. And this allowed them a period of time to do that grading, to get the health department approval for those additional lots. But there was a period of time in which that had to happen, and that time expired.
And you couldn't touch the site until you had the easements in place.
That's correct.
And a couple other, like, easements was the big one.
The easements was a big one, and clearly he then had post bonds for the site grading work. And that didn't get done either, so. There'll be some more work.
Yeah, I think we're done for tonight, so I'm gonna make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you.
According to your lovely wife, how you feeling?
Good.
Got the thing going in,
Like that?
it's a pacemaker. Makes you make you feel a lot better with it. I mean,
I went in for my annual checkup and the guy said your heart rate's 32.
yeah,
Said you need a pacemaker.
I always tell you a little chill.
I think my dad was like,
I'm on Ozempic and through Capital Cardiology, so they would check your pulse rate, check your blood pressure, every, like once or twice a week. It's always like 50 when I check my heart rate, and nobody ever said nothing. So the athlete, I guess, you know.
Yeah, right.
So he, you know, he's, well, I'll get back to it. If I'd have known how much is involved in the pacemaker, I might have just said, do it, get it done. But, well, it could be Lyme disease. Somebody else said, well, do you work outside? Well, it could be Lyme disease. So they took blood for that. Son of a gun, got antibodies. They didn't, you know, so then Tuesday, infectious, so that's like Thursday. So Friday I go down and I get, well, we'll give you IV antibiotics. When I swing by the hospital, oh, no, you gotta be admitted and all this shit.